This summer, I finally got my license and a car, but my mom was scared of me driving down the block, so I decided to let her use me for errands, or to drive my brother around, whose license had gotten suspended. My brother asked me to drive him to a party, and since I'm 18 and have pretty good social skills, I thought it wouldn't be a problem. My brother was 24 and the guy throwing the party was 28. I played some beer pong with my brother, but didn't drink anything since I was driving. After a while, I walked to the kitchen to get water, and the party host followed me and was asking to mix me a drink, and then proceeded to ask me all these personal questions. Another guest walks in and distracts the guy, so I just left. At this point, I didn't think anything strange. My brother's friend bought me some nachos, and I sat down next to this girl to eat. The party host and two other guys sat down with us and started talking. The girl got up and went to check on her boyfriend. The guy kept talking about their past and about their 10-year high school reunion coming up. I felt really young and awkward sitting with these guys who were 10 years older than me. But this one guy who recently got out of the Navy was really nice and telling me all these submarine stories. The host sat on the chair next to me and took my nachos and told me he wouldn't give them back unless I gave him my number. I gave him the number to this useless prepaid phone with minutes at my house and thought it wasn't a big deal. The host asked me if I wanted to see the cats that were being kept in his room, and I said sure. I realized this was naive, but I was surrounded by people 6 to 10 years older than me, and my brother was nowhere to be seen. As we walk into the room, the guy locks the door and gets on the bed, and I pet one of the cats on the floor. He pats the bed for me to sit, and I said that we should probably let the cat sleep. He told me he was just trying to get me alone, and told me to tell him more about myself. I got really nervous and started stuttering and saying I was 18, which I had told him and his friends earlier, and what high school I recently graduated from. Then there was a knock on the door, and luckily it was my brother's friend, who said my brother was looking for me. I walked out and was trying to avoid the party host, but he kept following me around. Finally, my brother was ready to leave, and I drove him back home and told him what happened. The next day, I noticed a text on the extra phone we have at my house, and it was the party host guy. He was saying all this nonsense about how he thought I was beautiful and young and exciting. I told him to please back off. I'm just 18 and even recently got out of a relationship. He would keep texting about how he can throw parties for me at his house, or that I could go over for some privacy. He kept asking where I lived and just didn't take no for an answer. He would call and ask to pick me up and take me out and stuff. I decided to just turn off that phone and keep it hidden for the rest of summer. And now that I turned it back on, I deleted all the messages, and I guess ignoring him finally worked. I'm a 15-year-old freshman in high school. I moved to my current town in the middle of 6th grade. When I first moved, I met Jay, and we became friends pretty quickly, and it was obvious that he had a crush on me. I wasn't interested in dating until high school, so I turned him down when he asked me out in 7th and 8th grade. After rejecting him the first time, he changed. Jay started acting creepy, perverted, and I just got a terrifying feeling in my gut when around him. At my 8th grade formal, he followed me around taking pictures of me. It was creepy. But we started talking again after an incident at school occurred, and I questioned him, which doesn't relate to the story. Jay was always very creepy when we talked. He would call me beautiful, sexy, etc., which I told him made me feel uncomfortable. He asked me out, and I told him no. He started calling me baby, and telling me he loved me and wouldn't stop even when I told him to. This was around the time that he started to pop up in stairwells I needed to use to get to class, and taking long drinks from the water fountain right outside the classroom door I was in. He seemed to just constantly be in the places I frequented. Jay would stare at me in class and give me this unsettling grin whenever I made eye contact with him. Jay gave me the chills, and I was not excited when he told me he was going to homecoming. I went with a bunch of my friends, and as soon as we walked in, I saw Jay standing around looking for me. I had told Sophie, my best friend, about him, and she noticed him too. Our school is divided into 2 lunchrooms, the large and small commons, which are connected by 2 hallways. One of them had the girls' bathroom and a hallway everyone put their heels in, and the other was a really dark hallway that had the principal's office door in it. We went down the dark hallway and he saw me. Jay pushed past a bunch of people to get right behind me and whispered in my ear, "Holy fuck, you look so damn sexy." I just mumbled something and hurried off. We hit the dance floor, forming a large circle of just our friends. I noticed that he kept walking around our group, looking at me as he walked by. We weren't dirty dancing, just having a fun time. I taught my drum major, I'm a colour guard, how to do the wobble, and we were really getting into the spirit of things. Sophie and I eventually got thirsty and went to take a pee break and get some water with a few other girls. But on our way back, I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned, and Jay was standing there. The following conversation ensued. "I need to talk to you." "Okay, what's up?" "I have to ask you something." He turns to Sophie. "Can you leave us alone, please?" "No. I need to speak with her alone." "Hey y'all, what's up?" Noah put Jay in the chokehold and Sophie and I ran out of there. We laughed it off nervously before heading back to our circle. Apple Blossom Jeans came on and we were getting funky fresh when I saw Jay come up behind me. I jumped into the circle and got low, playing us off as Sophie closed the gap, keeping him out. He just paced around our circle, staring at me, just watching. I have really bad anxiety and I was getting stressed out. I was trying not to cry as I felt like I was prey being circled. Sophie turns over her shoulder when he walks past her. "Do you need something?" "I need to ask her something." "I don't think you do." "Let me in to talk to her." "She doesn't want to talk to you." Jay storms off, pushing a few people out of his way. Sophie takes me to the bathroom to calm down, and eventually we decide that if he starts following us again, we'll tell someone. As we're walking out, Jay is standing against the wall, and turns and leaves as soon as I make eye contact. We make a sharp right into the small commons, where we tell the teacher. But guess what? It turns out we told the sexist asshole teacher at my school, and he didn't do anything. I'm unsure of what to do when I run into Stacy and Isabel. Isabel is a senior and a fellow guard member. I go up to her and ask her if she's here with anyone. When she tells me no, I ask her if I can stay with her and explain the whole situation. She consoles me and promises to stay by my side. Stacy disappears after hearing what happened. Isabel takes me back and we start dancing again. But we notice Jay doing laps again, passing our circle over and over. Isabel tells me he's talking to another guy and pointing at me. Then Stacy comes up to me saying that she told him to leave me alone, but he screamed at her and told her to fuck off and threatened to hit her if she talked to him again. We tried to continue dancing. Then Sophie grabs my hand. I look over to see Jay stalking up to me, his hands balled into fists. Isabel puts her arm out and starts to tell him to leave me alone, but he pushes her out of the way. I grabbed my friends and ran. I was looking behind me as him giving chase, when I run smack dab into the principal. In hysteria, I tell her he's stalking me and he pushed my friend, and she tries to beam him over when he pales at the sight of me and her talking and takes off. This amazing principal, she chases him down and puts him in a holding room. She came back and took a statement from me. Stacy told me she saw him get escorted out. The rest of the night was a blast. I had way too much punch, and it was overall an awesome night. I sent Jay a text this morning telling him very clearly that we were no longer friends, and that he made me feel unsafe and not to contact me again, or the principal would get involved again. I then blocked him for good. I'll have to see him again tomorrow in class, but I plan on avoiding him as much as possible, and if he talks to me, I'm ignoring him. So, Jay, even though I'll probably see you tomorrow, let's not meet again. Edit. I'm at school right now, and Jay hasn't tried to talk to me, but he kept passing our lunch table and followed me when I went to the bathroom by myself. I also found out that he has done similar things to 2 other girls, who I'm going to try to talk to about and get a little more information about how to handle it. My friends have been super supportive and are all walking with me to and from classes. I think things might be okay from here on out, but I'll update if anything major happens.